I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
And really, what more do you need to see to know this is a cinematic masterpiece? Hello everyone, my name is Ryan, and I have opinions on the difference between a good film and an enjoyable film. A little while ago, I talked about why films like The Room are beloved due to being passion projects that connect with the viewer despite their quality. Movies like this are nothing new, the concept of a B-movie originating in lower budget productions, used as an accompanying film to a double feature screening. Eventually, that low budget aesthetic grew into a thriving industry of low budget spoofs, parodies, and even original IPs, with more outlandish premises. And with multiple ways of distributing and viewing movies these days, these lower budget films are being cranked out with more and more frequency and are reaching more and more viewers. As such, it is also becoming more common for objectively bad films to be enjoyed by wider audiences. Cult classics like The Room and Sharknado prove that a movie doesn't need to be high quality to be anyone's favorite. What we are also seeing, though, is an increase of individuals who will fight tooth and nail over any film they consider good. I'll be the first to admit, I am extremely passionate about films I thoroughly enjoy, so I get the desire to defend to the death a film you found fun. Where I have to draw the line is when people assume that enjoyment equals quality in these situations. Over the last few years, people have become overly aggressive when defending critical and box office flops such as Batman v Superman or the Star Wars sequel series. If you liked these films or any other universally panned pictures, I am sincerely happy for you. However, there are some serious problems with them.
Why did you say that name?
Find him! Save Martha!
I recognize that I am a little biased when it comes to the DCEU and Batman v Superman, as I have been a longtime fan of comics and superheroes, and was disappointed by Snyder's outings starting as far back as Man of Steel. So much so that my friends and I have a recurring joke about the film Batman v Superman, where we would always say we paid too much to watch the movie, due to the fact our friend, who worked at the theater, comped us free tickets during its initial release. As such, it's safe to say you should take my opinion with a grain of salt. However, I've also been a longtime fan of Snyder, holding dear in my heart films of his many dislike, like Sucker Punch and even the Watchmen adaptation. So again, if Snyder's vision for the Justice League is more your cup of tea than his vision for their thinly veiled parody, then I completely understand. But that's kind of my point exactly. I am well aware of how people view films like Watchmen and Sucker Punch, and while I am quick to defend and point out that there are some redeeming qualities, I have to admit, they are a bit much. Just because I think the Snyderverse is full of bad movies doesn't mean they aren't with praise. I actually think Ben Affleck did not get a fair shake as the Dark Knight. I think he was one of the better casting performances for the Caped Crusader. And Henry Cavill. God, Henry Cavill. If he was actually playing Superman, the biggest, bluest Boy Scout, instead of whatever that mess was, he would have been the perfect casting. So I do understand that there's a lot to love in these films, but I do genuinely think that the negatives outweigh the positives. I mean, that's the point of guilty pleasures, isn't it? To know it's bad and love it anyway? I think lately, though, too many people are forgetting the knowing it's bad aspect of guilty pleasures. If there's a film out there that you absolutely love that is universally panned, I would love to see you make a video much like this, explaining exactly how wrong everyone is for overlooking it. I will expect, however, you to open with something along the lines of, yeah, this is bad, but here's why I love it. Being blind to a movie's flaws doesn't help it anyway. Sure, if you enjoyed a film, you'll want it to continue, so I'm not advocating criticizing a movie into oblivion. But without a healthy dose of criticism, film studios will continue plodding along making the same mistakes. And if you truly enjoyed a film, wouldn't you want to see it bigger, better, and much improved when the sequel rolls out? For some films, sure, maybe improvement is never an option. Like Sharknado is never going to improve from constructive criticism. It's a dumb movie that tries to entertain you with the absurdity of its premise. But if you enjoyed a movie for certain moments that came across in a different tone, letting creators know about your response to these scenes can help influence the direction of future installments. Take Suicide Squad, for example. And I know, I'm harping on the DCU a lot, but to be fair, they deserve it.
I can't wait to show you my toys.
Suicide Squad had mixed reviews from critics and audience alike, being certified rotten by both groups on the review aggregate site Rotten Tomatoes. The writer himself, David Ayer, admits to wishing he had done a few things differently. However, over the years, I've come to really appreciate certain scenes and characters from the film that hit a little bit different than the rest of the noise of the plot. I regularly rewatch Deadshot's shooting gallery scene, the perfect blend of comedy and seriousness I feel the movie should have aimed for, and I genuinely love the scenes depicting Harley and his relationship. They're far better than the scenes of hers and the Joker's. Harley Quinn and her portrayal as Margot Robbie were so exceptional, in fact, she got her own ensemble spin-off, Birds of Prey, and is one of the small pool of characters returning for the sequel. What's more, the trailer for the sequel are really selling this more comedic tone that so far seems to work exceptionally well. This new direction isn't surprising, as the film is being helmed by James Gunn, who has a great track record for this kind of movie and tone. I believe this pivot and new direction will do wonders for the new installment. This shift of tone is exactly what I hope to see. Studios and creators embracing aspects of a film that were beloved and trashing aspects that fell flat, even at the cost of pivoting a directorial vision. Snyder has always been about darker melodrama in his films, and this has been a criticism of his DC-helmed products since the beginning. The failure to change these flaws in any way is possibly DCEU's greatest downfall. I believe that if we could come to a consensus that while there are many cathartic moments in the DCEU, the flaws heavily outweighed them. I get that saying a movie is bad isn't great feedback, and I'm not suggesting foregoing constructive criticism. I don't want blind admiration, nor blind revulsion. If a film is bad, say why it's bad. You don't necessarily need to list any good moments in the film either, as not everyone is a skilled critic, but putting into civil words what felt off or didn't work, that can help filmmakers immensely. And even if it's your favorite film, you should always be looking for ways it can improve, and be open to people who may have seen a flaw that you missed. Thanks for coming back again this week, guys. Fortunately, I missed last week due to some construction going on in my apartment. Next week, a shorter video about how the creators of Phineas and Ferb seem to be the spiritual successors to classic cartoonists Chuck Jones and Tex Avery.